When Dracula is mentioned, what comes to mind worldwide is a dark castle, mountains rising behind the mists, flocks of bats piercing the night, and the curse of immortality. This image was transformed into one of literature's most powerful horror symbols with Bram Stoker's 1897 novel, Dracula. Yet behind the shadow of this legendary character lies a real historical figure, Vlad the Impaler, Prince of Wallachia. His story still lives on in the rugged mountains, ancient castles, and narrow streets of Romania. Thus, the question, where is the real home of Dracula, points not only to a geographic location, but also to a memory where myth and history intertwine. Vlad the Impaler was born in 1431 in the town of Sighisoara, Transylvania. He spent his childhood in this small town full of colorful houses. Sighisoara still preserves its medieval atmosphere, with its narrow streets, cobbled pathways, and steep-roofed houses, offering visitors a sense of the past. The town was both a cultural and economic center at the time. Crafts, trade, and artisanry flourished here, and it served as a hub connecting Transylvania to other regions. The house where Vlad was born still stands today. The objects and information displayed within it symbolize the true starting point of the Dracula legend. Vlad, born here as a baby, would later become one of history's most fearsome rulers. Even though this house is not directly related to Bram Stoker's novel, it is the initial stop where the legend was nourished. Years later, upon ascending the throne of Wallachia, Vlad spread terror through his unique approach to governance. He was remembered in history not only for his cruelty through the punishment of impalement, but also for his obsession with maintaining discipline. To preserve order in the Wallachian lands under pressure from the Ottoman Empire, suppress rebellions, and intimidate enemies, he used harsh methods. Over time, these methods were exaggerated in tales among the people. It was said that the corpses of his enemies were lined up on stakes like forests. His bloody reputation was carried through oral culture for centuries, turning into a powerful shadow that would catch Bram Stoker's attention in the 19th century. One of the most important constructions during Vlad's reign was Poenari Castle. Built on the steep rocks of the Fagaras Mountains, this castle served both as a refuge and a strategic headquarters. It also functioned as a defensive line against Ottoman armies. Poenari Castle was vital as a symbol of defense and regional control against the Ottoman threat in Wallachia. Here, Vlad made many strategic moves in skirmishes against both Ottomans and local rebels. Today, reaching Poenari requires climbing about 180 steps. This path is both a physical test and a symbol of confronting history for visitors. Unlike the fairy tale atmosphere felt at Bran Castle, those who walk among the ruined stone walls of Poenari breathe the weight of historical reality. While Poenari represents the bloody, real face of Dracula, the stories told among the people have fed the castle's harsh and terrifying aura. Another structure that comes to mind as a legendary castle is Bran Castle. Rising on sharp cliffs on the border between Transylvania and Wallachia, this castle's Gothic appearance resembles descriptions from the novel. Historically built in the 14th century, Bran Castle has been used for centuries to protect trade routes and as a defensive stronghold. Its stone walls, narrow passages, and towers made it stand out from other castles of the era, offering both security and architectural beauty. Bram Stoker never saw this castle. His depiction of Dracula's castle is entirely based on imagination. Nonetheless, after the novel's publication, a strong link was established between Bran Castle and the fictional castle. In the 20th century, Romanian tourism promoted this perception, and Bran Castle began to be marketed as Dracula's Castle. Today, visitors from all around the world flock to see it. Dracula-themed exhibitions inside feed the touristic side of the legend. Stoker's Dracula is not just a vampire story, it is also a reflection of Western fears and fantasies about Eastern Europe. The author never visited Romania and acquired his knowledge of Transylvania from geography books and travel notes. While the depiction of the castle in Stoker's novel bears traces of Bran and Poenari, it is entirely fictional. The castle in the novel is darker, more Gothic, and evokes a deeper atmosphere of internal fear. The real castles, however, are historical and strategic structures with distinct differences. Vampire myths existed in Balkan and Eastern European folktales long before Stoker. Romanian folk beliefs frequently mentioned Strigoi, spirits of the dead or vampire-like beings. These beliefs were supported by various anti-vampire rituals performed in village cemeteries, staking the corpse, decapitating it, or turning tombstones upside down. Such rituals and folk beliefs became direct sources of inspiration for the Dracula legend. Vlad the Impaler's cruel methods merged with these myths and strengthened the foundation of the legend. Today in Romania, the Dracula legend is not only a touristic element, but also a cultural heritage. Bran Castle hosts millions of tourists annually. Poenari offers adventure lovers a different experience, and Sighisoara impresses visitors with the warm atmosphere of the past. Dracula festivals in Sighisoara are celebrated with costumes, theater, and historical reenactments, giving visitors a chance to both have fun and connect history with legend. Modern Romanians proudly embrace the legend. It is seen not as a source of shame, but as a cultural and touristic legacy. Cinema and television have popularized the Dracula legend worldwide, ensuring its place in visual memory through productions in Rome and Hollywood. There are differences between the events Vlad is historically known to have committed and those attributed to him in the legends. The impalement punishments and his harsh rule are documented, but details such as lining up corpses like forests or roaming at night with bats are exaggerated. These differences are the result of history and myth blending together. That is why the answer to the question of Dracula's real home is full of contradictions. Vlad's castles and birthplace still exist in Romania, while Bram Stoker's immortal vampire resides only in an imaginary place. Today, in the flags waving from Bran's towers, in the wind blowing through Poenari's ruined walls, and in the echoing footsteps of Sighisoara's narrow streets, it is possible to feel both the historical brutality of Vlad the Impaler and the shadow of Stoker's immortal vampire. Dracula's home does not exist amid stone walls, but endures in humanity's collective imagination. Romania stands out as the land where this imagination becomes tangible, where history and legend blend together. And that is precisely why there is no single answer to the question of Dracula's real home. He lives both in the steep rocks of Poenari, in the towers of Bran, and in the quiet houses of Sighisoara. At the same time, he is immortalized in the depths of humanity's desire for fear, curiosity, and myth-making. If you enjoyed exploring this fascinating journey tracing the footsteps of the Dracula legend, don't forget to like. Subscribe to our channel to continue delving into the depths of history and legend together. Where do you think Dracula's real home is? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.